Uta here with the very last Coreopsis. We had a hard frost last night, and yesterday, before the temperature dropped, I cut buds of these rather hardy annuals, Coreopsis, that I had grown from seed for the last few years, and they bloomed after I brought them inside. So I wasn't expecting to be able to show you any more flowers. These are rather modest flowers, but I have a certain amount of satisfaction from that. And then over here you can see my asparagus fern, which I keep outside in the shade in the summer. And I'm going to repot it into something nicer, a glazed pot. And I figured out how to have it as part of my studio. And so today is a little advert for my children's books, which I write under a different name than Uta Hagen. I write my children's books under Leah Utsira, and Leah being a name in my family, and Utsira being the island, the far western island, the westernmost place in Norway where my great grandparents, both my great grandfather and my great grandmother, and it came from. And for a while, their last name was Utsira, and then they took my grandfather took Ostrem. I'm just trying to think. I can't think of his name. I have to go look that up. But her name was Boletha. And unfortunately, she died rather young when my grandmother was only 9. We think maybe it was possibly TB. So, anyway, that's the story of the name. And the other book I wrote under this name for children is My Heart, Your Heart. Now, this book is for a grieving process when a grandparent dies. It's about my journey of the last year of my mother's life. And so I'm not going to, advertise that now. But the book All About Leaves is a science book. I would love to be done advocating for women and for trans widows and so on, and get back to my children's book writing. And all of the illustrations in this book are from me. I am the photographer as well. But anyway, I wanted to suggest to my subscribers that this book is still available to order from iuniverse.com/bookstore. And all you do is look in the search line under Leah, Lea, Utsira, Utsira, and both of those books will come up. They are both available in this soft cover format as well as an ebook. And this is truly good science. I taught early grade science for 3 years at PS 372 in Brooklyn, the children's school. And I revamped their entire science curriculum. So I'm just going to read it to you and show you the pictures. And I hope that those of you who have young children, that you are looking for something significant to gift them, that you will consider ordering this and consider reading it to them and all, because you will enjoy it. So here we are, page 1. What do leaves do? Leaves have many jobs. These leaves are on a plant called lady's mantle. They're green. Do you see how the raindrops stay on top? The leaves on this plant are also green, and you'll have noticed that they were in the snow, with white edges. This plant is a vine called vinca. In fact, it's called vinca major. Do you see how it stayed green even in winter? Leaves are remarkable. There are so many things to observe about leaves. The leaves here are not green. These maple leaves are yellow. In summer, they were green. In autumn, when the days grew shorter and the air was colder, they changed color. These long, narrow leaves have another job. They poke holes and grow up through the papery brown carpet of dried, fallen leaves. They are the earliest spring flowers, that's snowdrops, and sometimes come up when snow is still on the ground. These plants are snowdrops. The flower buds have set, soon to open into little white flowers. New leaves are poking through again. You should have seen me tromping out there in the cold, kneeling down to take these photos. Little flowers have started blooming. The leaves absorb the sunlight and grow the snowdrops bigger. The roots of snowdrops grow bigger too. The energy of the sun travels down to the little bulbs to make more. Snowdrops are spreading all over, and I really have increased them. The narrow leaves capture the energy from the sun. The snowdrops grow and spread. This is a maple leaf. This is like the kind of frost we had last night. This is a maple leaf in winter. It froze in the water. When leaves freeze, they break down. The water expands when it freezes, and that breaks down the cells of the leaves. Later, it will completely break down and become soil. Light shines on and through leaves. There's a red wild geranium leaf. This wild geranium is a non-native with tiny little pink flowers called Herb Robert. Light from the sun is absorbed by the leaves. Light is energy. The leaves take the energy into the leaf colors in pigment cells or color cells. What happens is photosynthesis. And I do have a glossary at the end with all these terms, and children who are just in kindergarten and first grade can absorb these scientific terms. Leaves grow taller from the sun's energy. Trees grow taller from the sun's energy that the leaves have captured and transformed. The stems and branches and tree trunks are all there growing because of the leaves. In photosynthesis, light shines on the leaves' pigment cells, and the light is converted to energy for the plant or tree to grow. This is moss. Moss is green and it grows. It also takes sunlight to grow, but moss does not have leaves. Moss is like a carpet of green stems that look like leaves, but are not. I would love to write a whole separate book about moss. Lavender has gray-green leaves. They have a strong smell. Some leaves, like mint, basil, and parsley, have a distinctive fragrance. And again, that's introducing the word fragrance for smell, and most children can extrapolate and understand that that means smell. You can smell it on your fingers after rubbing and crushing the leaves in your hands, and that's a wonderful science experiment when you're doing our five senses, to have all these different herbs and let the children rub them and smell their fingers and smell the leaves themselves. The leaves of ferns have another job. Ferns do not grow flowers or make seeds. New ferns grow from spores on the leaves. Spores are tiny bumps that develop on the underside of the fern leaves. They will grow into the new fern plants. Now, I didn't have mature enough leaves with the spores on the back of them to put it as a picture in this book. I do now, because all of my ferns have spread and grown so much bigger. Many trees drop their leaves and fall. They go dormant for the cold winter. This means they do not take the energy from their leaves or grow during the cold season. Trees that drop their leaves and go dormant are called deciduous trees. There's another kind of tree that stays green in winter. This kind of tree is coniferous or a conifer. We also call them evergreens. They have narrow needles for leaves, again, a snow picture, which I'm very fond of. These needles collect the sunlight for energy to grow, the same as for deciduous or broadleaf trees. The big tree here is an oak. That's my central oak, and you can, of course, read about that more in my memoir, In the Curated Woods, which is not a children's book. The leaves are starting to change from green to yellow in early autumn. As the leaves fall, more light shines through the woods. When the leaves are green and thick in the middle of summer, the woods are dark and mysterious. The leaf cover at the tops of the trees is called the canopy, like a tent. Oak trees provide acorns as food to animals in the forest. We must take care of our oaks, our mighty oaks. And then I write more about oak leaves. And I write about how this is what I call the wedding cake part of my woods, where the leaves fall and then decompose. I actually brush it off of there because I don't want more trees growing up out of this shallow leaf and soil layer. And so I'm sort of raking all over my woods. But this demonstrates how leaves turn into soil and then the roots grow out of that soil. And then there I have the glossary. And there's a picture of me from a long time ago. And, okay, and then I have a little thing at the end. And there are many, many lessons that you can connect with this, and even, you can bring in broadleaf and even pine branches and dip them or roll with a roller, roll paint over them, and then print the vein side down from the broadleaf trees, and help the children to notice all these details through artwork, and as well sketching all the stages, like the little leaves poking up. For example, that's something that's quite attainable for a young child just learning how to draw science observations, to just draw the brown leaf carpet on the ground and little spiky snowdrop leaves poking up and then getting bigger, and then having the bud, and then having the little three-leaved flowers, and they make a nice little sort of a green berry. That's the seed. And snowdrops spread by the bulbs. They have little bulbs, kind of like tulips and daffodils, and they spread by that. And they also spread by forming these seeds. So I'm looking forward to more next year, and I have about 25 more snowdrops bulbs and daffodil bulbs to plant, so I'd better head outside. You take care, and we will see you the next time. Please consider buying, for any child you care about, Leah Utsira's All About Leaves.